What's up, guys? Welcome to the NiNe Show.
Where would this take them? Where is this current feeling or value set going to take them in the future?
Like
Yeah.
opposites. Like you're going that way, I'm going this way.
I mean this very literally. There's no emotion in how I did that. For me, it's just pure efficacy of recall.
I got sometimes like, oh, I have to human. I think that's the NI as opposed to NE that just wants to see it in its totality, right?
Common point of what was that word you used, Jono?
What? What the? Yo, what the fuck? Okay, go on, let's go.
I will chew you.
All right.
Welcome to the NiNe Show. We're four intuitive dominant types: ENTP, ENFP, INFJ, and INTJ. It's our goal to educate you on the OP system and typology, as well as exploring new ideas and theories with you. Jono's not here with us today, but pray for him. He's going to be traveling a lot, even throughout the coronavirus stuff. So just keep him in mind. He's with us. Today in the land of chaos, we're going to be discussing TE. And as you might have noticed, I'm wearing something kind of crazy. It's in the spirit of TE, my masculine TE, protecting my feminine FI, in case you guys didn't figure that out. It's a little hog there. Shout out to Hog Mob. Anyways. So, how are you guys anyways? What's up?
Yeah, we're good, bro. Let's what's TE, Leon? Tell us, since you have it.
Exactly. All right, so TE, I'm gonna just make it stupid simple, just like TE tries to do. It's basically trying to have everything work for everyone in a logical fashion. And I have an example of this because I work at a gym at the moment. And I have some coworkers, and I was actually explaining the same thing to them when I was trying to blast to them about OP. So let's just pretend there's a guy named Brandon, and Brandon needs to clean his section of the gym that I work at. Then there's another guy I work with, and they pretend his name is Gavin, and he needs to go to the bathroom, and then I need to go eat lunch. So I'm going to suggest with this TE that Gavin goes to the bathroom first, and then when he comes back, I'm going to go eat lunch. And then Brandon's going to go clean his section. And then Gavin will then stay at the front desk, checking people in, dealing with memberships, answering the calls, and etc. So in the TE way, this is going to work for everyone instead of, let's just say, oh, I got to go eat. So I bounce. And then these guys are like, oh my God, I got to take a piss. And like, I don't know if I should clean my section. And they're fighting each other now. So TE is going to solve that by giving them a solution. It's a DE, it's a tribe function. The difference, it's trying to make it work logically.
You know what's funny? Like quite like a lot of times I'll be aware of what would work for everyone. But like I'll just be like, wow, like, but I'd have to tell someone what to do. Like I don't want to do that. Like I'm just gonna worry about what I'm doing. And
or this guy's gonna be mad because he has to wait a little longer than this guy.
Yeah. I'm thinking about like how are they gonna feel about that? Like
and though it matters how they feel, it's kind of like, and TE's aware, like, yeah, they might not feel that good.
But it doesn't matter.
But yeah, they'll feel better if they
when it works out. Yeah. Okay.
Like in the long term.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that.
At least like, in the NI case, NITE, but
yeah. No, I get that. That makes sense. It's like, yeah, no, that makes sense. It's like the parents that will just make you do something because they'll be like, you'll be grateful for it when it works out, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I think. Like, and everyone hates my idea of how I'm gonna be a parent. I mean, because I'm not a parent yet, but in my TE way, I don't care if they hate me until they're 25 or whatever.
Yeah.
They're gonna be ready to be adults.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, fair enough.
So how do you guys see TE? What is TE to you? I mean, you guys have TI, so maybe the audience will get a nice perspective here.
Asees, you can lay it on them thick.
That's not a nice perspective.
Does the TE work?
No, I don't.
All right.
Masculine TI, no. We'll get it. Well, I have a few things to say about TE that are for later on, specifically the cons and the demon. I'm just kidding, but I do have a few things to say though, just to clear up some confusion about the whole ideas. What are ideas? You know, if any is ideas or just N, and then if T is ideas, then what the fuck?
Yeah, the distinction is important.
Right. So it's very there's a very good distinction when we're using Dave and Shan's framework for identifying the functions, where T is providing the solutions and N is exploring the possibilities. But then it's like there's some overlap. How do you, when you get into the more complex applications of those functions, what's happening? I don't get it. So let's develop an actual understanding of these functions real quick. So if we're going to talk about it mechanically, think about the sort of the chain of cause and effect, right? So there's the cause. I don't know if you guys can see me. There's the cause, and then there's the effect, right? But it doesn't just happen. There's some sort of mechanism that happens through, or that allows that to happen. And so when we're going to look at that, the cause is going to be the T. The effect is going to be what the fuck ever. And then the mechanic that happens to, the mechanism, is going to be the N. So there's a very good analogy, and I think Odom has the best way of explaining it. He did it so well.
Yeah, but this time I'm gonna fuck it up probably. But so I was trying to relate that to chess, and I was just kind of like, I guess you'd see with chess you're trying to win. There's an objective, and the N is kind of the observation of what you can do when you play chess. Like within the rules and everything, like what is possible for you to do. So it's more of like just knowing what you can do, and then the T is the actual approach you take. Like when you're facing an opponent, they're gonna be doing certain moves, and the T is what you choose to do with that in mind, like how you move towards the objective, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference, I guess.
Right.
But those things together, it looks you're playing chess. But when you put the N and the T together, like how you do it in the observations of what you can do, and then what you choose to do against the opponent, that brings together like you playing chess and winning.
Right.
I guess.
And so probably where some of the confusion comes from is that they're both extroverted functions are exploratory. And so since there's some overlap between NE and TE, between trying to brainstorm solutions, it can kind of look the same sometimes, because maybe the person with NE might arrive to the same conclusion as a person with TE, and let's say their other functions are different. It might look the same, but there is a difference in the approach, which is that, just refer back to Odom's good chess analogy. There's a clear difference. And so the extroverted functions, just remember, are exploring that domain, and the introverted functions are building, stacking up, and developing a deeper understanding that is very personal about that.
That was good, man. That was real good. Yeah, I mean, I guess we've covered what TE is pretty well. And now let's move on to TE as saviors. I guess Leon, since you don't have TE as a savior, but you can go ahead and just say what you want about it.
Yeah, I got I have a coworker who's, I think she's the same type as Amanda. She's a visual TESE, play, consume, blast. And in my experience, like just working with this person and talking to this person, they're very much like asking a ton of questions all the time, for one. Like, and I mean, it's like play and the consume, but it's like bam, 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 the play, the TE's like knocking, like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And she always brings up like people. and she's going in the direction of like, hey, how do I, like, people tell me that I'm insensitive, and it's not even that I don't care, I just don't know what to say. And whenever I say something, or whenever they say something that makes me feel uncomfortable, it's like, that's kind of dumb, sorry. And so it's like pushing away at the tribe just so that they can protect that soft identity. I know this person specifically has feminine FI, but even so, even if it's like demon FI, it's just like, oh, I don't want to talk about my feelings, or oh, you're making me feel weird. I'm just gonna say something logical and keep it moving, you know?
Yeah.
So it comes off as a little bit standoffish. And even my girlfriend talks about this sometimes when she's at work. She's like, I don't talk to people, but when I do, they give me this vibe like I'm standoffish. And when I ask people like later on, hey, like, what did you think of me? And they're like, yeah, you're standoffish.
Yeah.
It's just the hidden FI.
Do you think this is your perspective of TE as a savior just because you have it as a demon? So it's like you have like a negative.
No, not at all. Because like I come off as I feel like I come off as standoffish by accident.
Right.
And it's like, if you like spend enough time with me, you'll know that it's not my intention. But yeah, we can talk about TE as a demon right now if you want.
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
Yeah, go for it. TE as a demon. No, I'm just kidding. check my own FI. Well, I mean, having demon TE, like, I constantly want to help people, but I want to do it my way. So like, people don't. I
want to help you, but I want to help you in the way I think is the best way. Like you have to
exactly. Like my identity is telling me that this is what it really is, and I'm gonna help you with, like, and for instance, I even did this when I was meeting Dave and Shan in person. We were eating In-N-Out Burger in California.
Yeah, I remember this story. Go on.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
And so I went and I got ketchup for everybody at the table, and like these little peppercini peppers, and I put them all on the table for everybody. And at first, I think it was Shan. She was like, "Wow, he went out and like did all that for everybody." And then Dave's like, "Yeah, but no one asked him to," and like, and he didn't ask anybody else. Like he just did it. I'm like, yeah, that's part of it. But it's like part of it is I feel like if you don't want it, if your DI doesn't want it, fine, don't take it. But I did my job trying to help you. Yeah. And then the other part is like when someone's asking like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? I actually know what I think. And most people don't know what they think, you know, when they're asking for help. So I'm thinking that I can make it work for them. And then they complain it's not the right way. Well, I mean, you should have had your own opinion then. You should have tried something else.
It's interesting. Like because you're double activated on T, you do the actions of banging on the outside wall, like you're doing the help, but the source of that help is from you. You're not asking them, what do you want me to do? Then you do it. You're asking yourself, what do I want to do for them? And then you do it. Like you're doing. It's weird. It's like the action versus the motivation behind it. So that's the difference between being activated on TE and then having it as a savior. I guess.
And I also think it might have to do with the DI as well, like the FI. Like I will do it if I feel like it, but then sometimes if I don't feel like it, I'll just make myself do it anyway because it's part of my identity, and the identity itself is stronger than the feeling. Like like even if I slip up, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna beat myself up. I am responsible for that, like because I chose to be.
Damn. Yeah, fair enough. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good, man.
You guys have anything like a story or something about demon TE or anything?
We can get to demon TE. I got that's one or two things to say about Saviour TE.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So there was someone who was Saviour TE, who was
no way.
I know, man. Just Christ, who would have thought? Fucking
not the TE.
So they were having a problem with us doing the coronavirus episode, and specifically me, because I was sort of directing it and blasting that information. So they came from the standpoint of where was like what was my authority on that? Like who was I? Like I don't have a PhD. I didn't do any official studying or whatever. I don't know shit. I don't have any qualifications. And so they had this whole thing. Their SETE. So there is going to be some of that sensory stuff in there, but they were like, there's like, I put you on the spectrum.
Yeah.
You don't line up, so you're not allowed to talk about it. And so that's just a little bit of that TE mixed with that SE a little bit of putting people on the thing, and specifically because I was talking about what we should do and stuff, and I was giving logic, so I was playing more into their TE of now they had my logic to put on a thing. The ironic thing was, though, they didn't even consume that because they wouldn't. But I think that's just kind of how TE works. It's automatically more comparative, whereas I'm like, all right, look at them and assess if what they have to say is of worth. But I mean, that's the TE thing, and not all TEs are going to do that. That's just an aspect, a manifestation of TE. There's also some other things.
Can I just quickly make a point about that from my perspective? I think it's good to be aware of like the credibility of sources and like that, but it shouldn't be so. You shouldn't overvalue that, because then you're asking for incompetence. Like if people think that they can get away with everything if they have a certificate or like the validation that they know their shit, then they can be incompetent and then
and then who's to say?
Exactly. So like you need to also just measure the information itself rather than the person as well. Like I get it, it's important, but you should also do both.
Right. Yeah. It's just a shortcut to start, not the end all be all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but go on.
Yeah. And then just another thing, it's as far as I'm concerned with my TI, it sort of baffles me the cognitive dissonance that happens in the process of TE, where it's like they will hold completely contradictory ideas and frameworks for operation and decision making, and they'll act in those contradictory ideas, and some days they'll agree with that and some days they'll agree with the opposite, and it's so confusing to me that how do they not realize that? It's not all TEs, it's just some TEs that didn't realize that. And a part of that, of course, comes from that demon DI. But it's so confusing to me that they don't, like, if they're so concerned with putting things on the spectrum, how can they not see that their actions, when they put their action on the spectrum, that it's not adding up?
Can you go into that real quick about an example of how TE is contradictory, like a legit example or a made up example or whatever?
Yeah, I was just gonna say Joe Rogan. There's like, it's not an example, but he was talking to I think Robert Downey. He was talking to someone, and he was just saying, I'm not married to any idea.
Oh yeah.
And it's also kind of like they have ideas to fit the situation, not for them to be like consistent. They only have ideas to like work. So if one day this idea works, they'll use it. If the other day it's the opposite, they'll go with that.
Exactly.
So
Again, not all TEs are like that. Some TEs are TI-esque, where they're consistent and not retarded. And I appreciate those TEs, because those are TEs that you can actually talk to and have a consistent conversation with over days.
Yeah.
But that's sort of one of the aspects of not having that those other functions.
Yeah. I do value it though. Like the fact that I know it's contradictory and stuff, but like they're more useful than me. Like in random situations, I'll need to I'm like
100%.
I'm not flexible enough, and they're just like, like this is what you do. I'm like, fuck, that was so quick.
Right.
Like how did you? But so there's pros and cons.
Yeah, moving into the pros more specifically, it's like like as when I come in, it's like they like the first thing they do almost is like they'll ask a few questions trying to understand what the hell is happening, and then it's like, okay, then how does that affect other people? And they immediately go to that the applicability to other people as a solution aspect of things. And it's like sometimes I don't even fucking consider that. Like Shannon did that in, oh man, when did she do this? It was the most recent video. I'm trying to remember the specific thing, but it was the one on multiple intelligences. And she was talking about, oh yeah, because she doesn't understand what IQ is, she was talking about how IQ is so NT, so that it doesn't account for the variance in people of having other types of intelligence that isn't TE. Now she doesn't understand what IQ is, but that's fine. That was a very TE point of her to bring up.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I tend to miss. That's sort of like the things that I sort of arrive to later. It's like, now that I've done all this work for myself, it's a beautiful thing. Other people can, obviously they must like it, right? Oh my god, it does not look like that at all, ever. And so that applicability, that awareness of other people and sort of that care, really, it's like, oh my god, that's just, oh, I need that to keep me in check, dude.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, damn, man. And at least like you're a double decider, so it's not as bad. So if you were like lead TI, it'd be even harder, like so much harder.
We'll talk
That's
about
what
my
she said.
trouble with lead TIs on the TI episode.
Yeah.
I got some shit to say, dude.
All right. Well,
do we got any specific cons of TE? You guys?
they're annoying, and I'm saying this like not to talk smack about Saviour TE. I got TE too. I feel annoying all the time. I'm sure you know you're annoying if you have TE. No, I mean just like Dave and Shan said, like sometimes they ask like unnecessary questions just to get the validation, and you know the answer to it, or it's just a simple question that all you need to do is like look around you and take 3 seconds, you know? And I do that at work all the time. Like when I'm at work, I'll be like, hey, can I go to lunch now? Even though I just asked everybody like what they're doing and I know that they're covered. Like I just want to double check that it's okay that I leave.
100%.
Yeah. Or just some stupid thing like, hey, do you want me to clean the restroom? Or like, is someone already cleaning the restroom? It's like, yo, dude, just check out the chart. Usually we sign out when we go and do the restroom or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I just didn't want to read the chart. I just wanted to ask you because if I can bring up that I'm going to do it, I seem more valuable, you know?
Oh my god. Oh wow. That's so funny.
Right.
That's funny.
Right. I mean that is something that me as Blast Last I get my shit kicked on because I'm not going there basically in as like the way that I interact with the world. It's not in a way to express the validity of my existence, why I'm valuable. So I get my shit kicked on because then nobody thinks I'm valuable. But to go off of that general point, you know, with what you're talking about of sort of thinking for yourself, even if you are thinking for yourself, it's sort of it might even come across as you're not. So you might even want to check for the nuances in your language, just to make sure that you're not coming across as I can't think for myself. Fucking tell me.
Yeah.
It really comes off that way sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like when I do whatever I want, like I sometimes don't even get a response from people, but that like kind of worries me a little bit more because then it's like, oh, now they're gonna do something to set me up. Like my DI is over here, like all these people, I can't trust these people right now because like I can feel that they're mad at me. Like, but what I did makes the most sense. So either I'm annoying or I'm pissing them off just straight up because I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
So which am I gonna choose? I don't know. If you're Saviour TE, maybe you should just piss them off and talk later. But for me, I gotta be annoying. Use my demon.
Oh man, I love you, man.
I don't know. Take this with a grain of salt, everybody. I'm a salty guy sometimes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw in my con for TE, which it's not like completely a con. It's just that there's sometimes it can be a problem. But since TE is trying to make it like trying to make the logic applicable to everyone, it tends to be biased to kind of towards simplicity. Like so, everyone's kind of included in that. Um, I have like I have some example. I have an example, but I won't even go into it. I will go into it, but let me just like give my end first. I think Occam's. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. But Occam's razor is a principle in philosophy where you kind of prefer the solution that explains the problem with the smallest number of assumptions. So like if it's Christmas Day and then the kid wakes up and there's presents under the tree, like one solution is Father Christmas did it, like he flew over like millions of houses over a night and then delivered the present, or his mom just bought the presents. Like which solution includes the least amount of assumptions? Obviously if the mom did that, like that. So it's kind of like the more common sense approach to solving problems. And so I think TE kind of leans towards Occam's razor generally. So it's kind of let's not waste our time always diving into complexity, because first of all, this situation needs to be solved. It can be solved straightforwardly, and we need to get everyone on board. So
Yeah.
it's generally good, but when there's times where you do need to like dive into the complexity of something,
Right.
if you kind of brush it over and just be like, it's done, you're solving it in a way where it's gonna come back again.
Right.
And TI likes to solve things in a way where it never is a problem ever again. Like you're solving it almost systemically, like if you understand it.
Yeah.
So that's where it can be a con. When I give an example, but this is more of this is like not a really clear example of it, but like as a group we were going into the town center and we had to buy like tickets for we travel through the tram. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like an overground
like a train, right?
Overground train, yeah. And so we were gonna go there and come back home. So I think I was trying to get a ticket that was cheaper than a return or something like that. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this. And then someone with TE was like, oh no, don't do that. We're all getting the same one. We're all gonna get a return. And I was like, oh no, it's fine. Like I can just get this. And he was like, no, just do it. Then I did it, and I was really annoyed I did it because I took it and I was like, I know I'm overpaying just because this person wants it to work for everyone. And then after I got it, someone was like, oh no, he's right. Like we should be actually getting the other ticket. Like it works out cheaper. So it's just stuff like that. Like it was kind of like based on it being the simpler solution. Let's do it. Let's not just stop and think about it. Let's just
that's what I was just about to say. Like how you said, like let's not stop and think about it too much or whatever. I think Asees brought that point up earlier, either before the show or like in the beginning of the show, where like TE doesn't want to think for themselves or like doesn't want to spend too much time thinking. So it'll come up with that quick, easy, simple, universal thing where it's like, oh yeah, we can just do this. I don't have to think about it.
I would say to be more specific, because you're
to be more TI.
No, I'm just kidding. So what I'm trying to get at with what Leon is trying to get at with what I was saying is that there's did you guys follow that? That wasn't so the logic is so general that and sort of universal that sometimes the integrity of that attenuates and then it collapses because it's spread out so thin. So I was watching this YouTuber one time, and he was a programmer, and he talked about how he was like the best coder or one of the best coders at Google when he was there. And I think this is very good and sort of what TE should try to do, and just what everybody should try to do, really. But I think that this is what TE is inherently trying to get at, where he talked about how his code was so good, he was so efficient, he did so much work. One, because he realized that you can't make the code 100% perfect. And so he said that he just tried to get it to like 85% or whatever. Like he knew that going in. But then second thing was that the way that he structured his code was so that the structure of it was inherently obvious to whoever was looking at it. So that he didn't have to waste time explaining what the hell this complex sequence of events did, because it was just its existence was self-explanatory. You could just look at it and tell.
Yeah.
Yo,
Trying to do, but sometimes they are so focused on the human need that they forget the T.
Yeah, I feel like like that's the one difference between my general manager and assistant manager at work is they're both SI first, but one of them's got TE and the other one's got FE. And so the one with FE goes through every single thing like point by point by point to make sure that the person feels like they got it all. But then the one with TE says, dude, like half that crap isn't even practical. Like all you really need is this like little amount of information, and everything else we rarely do. And most of the time a manager needs to do it anyway. So don't worry about it. Like, don't think about that. Think about the stuff you do 80% of the time. I'm like, I totally agree with that.
Right.
So, that's awesome. Shoot, I feel like I had something else to say, but I don't know. I feel like that was a good episode.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mr.
I don't-
TE? I'm not crying. I'm sorry, guys. I'm clowning around. Anyone else got some last thoughts?
Yeah, T is good. It just like any of the functions, there are pros and cons. I hope we've given a good kind of look at both sides of TE and just fleshing it out. Also, the Savior and the Demon. And again, guys, leave any comments if there's any things we've left out about TE that you feel like should be included. Feel free to comment, and also feel free to like and subscribe and tell your friends about us.
Send this to your mama. And also, I had a quick favor that I'd like to ask you guys. So we did a live stream just recently about the coronavirus, and we just want to know your guys' thoughts on that in the comments. If we should do a live stream more often, we should do some recording and see what you guys think. But thanks again for watching. NiNe Gang out, and see you next time in the land of chaos.
How the fuck do you do that?
I don't even know, man.
Hold on. How do you do that? Is it like this? I don't even try to do this. Like this, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit! But now it's not even in the screen because my hands are.
I'm not even here. Yeah, man.
This.
Brothers.